Okay, so this is the time where I give you a bit of an update of what's happening right now on the farm, and I also answer your questions. So I've got a bit to cover in this video, so let's do it. So the first question is, someone asked me about the electric fence wire that goes around the E-coop. So rather than typing back a big long email, I thought I'll put it in the video. So this is an energizer. So this is attached to the front wall of the E-coop. So there it is there. So, and that goes down to that wire. So what we've got, we've just hooked up a switch. Down is on, up is off. In Australia anyway. If you're in the US it might be the opposite, but that's just the way we've done it. We know down is on. Our earth wire just goes to the coop itself, and then the live wire goes out to here. So this wire here is about, say, a foot off the ground, and it comes out from the coop about a foot. So the whole idea is, if a fox wanted to try and dig under, it's going to hit that wire, and it's got a bit of punch to it. So I'll actually show you now. I'll just turn the fence on and test it. You can actually see the coop moving. We're just developing an auto mover. I can't actually show you all the details because I'm working with someone that some of his products aren't out yet. But anyway, this coop's moving along by itself, which is really awesome. So I'm just going to test this wire. I'm going to test this wire just with my probe into the ground. And it's running 9.8. I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen, but it's running 9.9. It's running 10 kV. So if something touches that, it's going to get absolutely belted. So it's running quite a bit. And if it touches the steel as well, if it touches the steel and touches this, it probably doesn't go above 10. It's running the max. It's maxed out this meter. So we're running an energizer. We're running an energizer unit that, well, it says here it can do 2 kilometers of fence. Well, this fence is probably, what is it going to be, 15 meters all around? So anyway, that's how that sets up. I'm just going to turn that off. The other thing we've done here is, if we want to open and close these doors, that wire is going to be in the way, or you don't want to trip over it. So we've just set up a system where I can just touch it with my foot, flick it down to the ground. Same with this one. I can just flip it down on the ground, and now I don't have a trip wire. And then I can just flip it up and they just stay up in place. So there you go, there's a bit of info on the wire. I thought I'd just get the voltmeter and test it for you. And while we're here, so these chickens, there we go, they hatched on March 16th and it's the beginning of May. So they're about 6 or 7 weeks old. Some Australorps and some Plymouth Rock crosses in there. They're loving the fresh grass as it's moving forward. That's what I love seeing. So they never eat this out because it's always moving. I've got a bit of a surprise back here. So this wire from this one, it's now servicing this little coop. It's pulling this along as well. Here's a bit of a surprise. I know people are watching and they want to see chickens, but rabbits are awesome too. So we've got some rabbits in there, and this is what I love to see. Because the coop's moving, I'll sit the camera down so you can actually see. It's moving so slow, so the rabbits are getting fresh grass all day. See how slow it's moving? So they're not going to get jammed up. It's moving, I don't know, maybe a little bit faster than a snail would move across the pavement. Really, really slowly. This is what I love to see. There's the rabbits. They're chewing on grass. They get fresh grass delivered to them. And this will move about 8 meters a day. So anyway, I'm not really here to talk to you about the auto mover, but I thought I'll just share with you a little bit of an update. This has also got an electric fence wire around it, this wire here. I forget if I left it on or not, but that wire there, that one there, so if a fox or anything else comes up and wants to play around with the rabbits, they're going to get absolutely belted by that wire. So that's what's going on there. Let's keep moving. Okay, so for the month of May, I am covering chickens for profit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I make money with chickens here on the farm. I'm going to be buying in a bunch of chickens and then on selling them. But what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be sharing the figures with you. If you're saying, hey, how do I make money with chickens, Daniel? And a few people have been asking me. A few friends have been sort of contacting me out of the blue and say, hey, I want to make some money with chickens. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do this month with chickens. I'm mostly going to be buying in some day olds and on selling them. But I'm going to set up a spreadsheet, so anytime I buy in feed or chickens or fertile eggs, I'm going to disclose it, and I'm actually going to show you how much I sell the chickens for and how much profit is in it. So that's called Chickens for Profit. The best place to follow that is probably on YouTube. I may only be doing short videos on Facebook and Instagram, but if you subscribe to us on YouTube, you will see the full series of Chickens for Profit. And I might even set up a page of our website where I can share all the spreadsheets and everything else about Chickens for Profit. So I'm saying it's the month of May. It'll probably run longer than that, but I'm starting at the beginning of May. Just while we're here, here's some other bunnies here. They're chewing on some grass. Anyway, we've seen enough rabbits today. Rabbits are good because they eat grass. Here's the chickens in the brooder. Let's see what we got. They hatched 20th of April and it's now early May, so what are they, 10, 11, 14 days old or something? I'm not sure the exact day it is today. So there's 48 of them in there. Most of them are Australorp crosses. The yellow ones are probably Isa Browns cross Australorp, but they're happy and healthy. I'm going to be giving them the whole run. I'll do that in the next couple of days. Also with the electric fence wire, I'll show you here. So this is a similar setup. I can just lift it up, it pops up. I've got my live wire on there, my earth wire, but I've just got this down so I can open and close these big doors. So I shut these in at night, and there's the energizer. And then that also goes, I've just got an extension cord that we've custom made that powers this fence. And this fence is for baby chickens. So it's like the other fence that we do offer, but it's got the tiny little holes. So if you've got little chickens in there, it can protect them. I've just got them around these few little rabbit coops because I don't want anything hassling my furry friends or feathered friends. So that's the baby chickens. And I'm now going to answer some questions. I had some questions, so this is a way so I'm not spending hours and hours a day in email, but also still offering people some value. What I wanted to do is, if you've got a question for me, it could be anything about chickens, please send me an email, support@chickencaravan.com. I'll answer your question in a video. So you might just get an email reply saying, I'll answer it in a video, so keep an eye out. Question number 1, this is relevant to what's behind me. How long are baby chickens on sawdust before we start moving them? So I keep the chickens on sawdust for 3 to 5 weeks, depending on how feathered up the chickens are, depending on time of year and season. So I'm in Australia between Sydney and Brisbane. I'm not in the top end of Canada where it gets minus crazy degrees. So I can take them off the sawdust between 3 and 5 weeks and start getting them onto grass. I will be moving this coop behind me. So what I'll start to do, I'll actually move it halfway. So inside the open floor of this e-coop grower will be, half of it will be grass, like fresh grass that I move it onto, and the other half will be sawdust. How many baby chicks in the brooder. So what's the capacity? So in there it's 3 meters by 3 meters squared. I'm happy to put 300 baby chickens in there up to about 3 weeks of age. At 3 weeks, I want to do one of two things. I either want to thin them out, maybe like cut it back to 200. So thin out, they might go to, I might sell them off, they might go to a different coop. Or I start letting them out. In the fence I just showed you, I could do a side door, let them out. So when they're 3 weeks of age, the 300, they've got enough room to eat and drink, but I want them to free range and have more area to run. So I'd happily brood 300 chicks in there till about 3 weeks of age. Now, and you can scale that up and down. You might go 400 chicks to 2 weeks of age. So at 2 weeks you put them in another shed, or you might go 200 chicks to 4 or 5 weeks. So, but rule of thumb, for a 3 meter by 3 meter brooder, I wouldn't think twice about putting 300 chicks in this size area. But just at the 3 week mark, I want to start letting them out. I also had a question about processing chickens. Someone wants to get started in meat chickens. They said their local processor charges $7 a bird to process them and bag them. I just make sure you do your figures. By the time you buy a baby meat chicken in, let's just say it's $2.50, then you've got to put your feed into it, then your labour cost, and then it's $7 each processing. I'm not sure the profitability. Like, there will be people that pay it. I don't know how many people will pay it. So you might, what you find, you might be hitting 1% of the market, which they go, yep, I'm happy to spend, I don't know what that would end up being a bird. It might be $35 a bird, because it's on pasture, it's all good quality. You might not be able to scale that to be able to do like 2,000 of them a week. It might not work out. So I just really do your costings on the meat chickens. The other thing, just look at your risk assessment. With small abattoirs that are happy to process your birds for you, sometimes they're few and far between. So if they sell the business, they go out of business, they change hands, something changes, I wouldn't be building a massive business on the back of that, because you're very reliant on them, and it's not like you can go to the person next door. So just look at your risk with your suppliers, and your abattoir is one of those suppliers. If you're just doing a few and it's a percentage of your income, I think it's great. But if that's your sole income for you and your family, it could be a weak link, because something could happen with that abattoir. I don't know what. They could sell it, change hands, shut it down, decide we're not doing it anymore, have to put their price up by 20%. Your business is really hinging on them. In Australia, we do have a lot of regulations around processing chickens. For anyone watching in America, well, as far as I know, they're a lot more lenient about doing home kills and sort of selling them. In Australia, if I process chickens myself and I sell them, that's a big no-no. They'll want to shut me down pretty quick. I process my own chickens, but I don't sell them. I process my own chickens, I put them in the bag, put them in the freezer, and I and my family eat them. So there's no sales going on. So to do it commercially in Australia, just look at the distance from the abattoir and just make sure you do your figures. But I wish you well, and if you've got another question on that, please shoot out. I think that's all the questions. Let's keep moving. So over here, we had some old veggie gardens. I thought, let's get these chickens to work, and they can turn these veggie gardens into some goodness. So I better just check if this fence is on, otherwise I could get nailed by a fence. It's not on. Always check if your fence is on. These things are great. Have you seen these? At night, or even during the day, you can see it's on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it on. And now it's not working. Anyway, it's meant to, what's going on? Oh, there we go. It flashes. It's easier to see at night, because if you get it at a wrong angle. So there you go. It flashes. It just doesn't come out well in the camera I know you can see that, but yeah, so it flashes, so you can walk past your fence and you can see that your fence is on. So I think these are a great device, because often you're like, oh, did I turn that fence on? You can just look back over your shoulder and you go, yep, it's flashing, it's on. And it'll only flash if it's doing at least 4,000 kV. So if it's doing under that, you probably want to fix up your fence. So anyway, we had a bunch of veggie gardens here. I'm taking the frames away. I'm going to get rid of those and just have a big open garden that goes down the hill. So I've been putting mulch and compost and all sorts of things in here. I'm going to keep moving the chickens, and then we'll start covering this with some bark chip compost, which I've made before. Anyway, here are the laying chickens. So in this flock, they're mostly Australorps. Come here in the shade. Got a few Isa Browns, but I've got 2 Australorp roosters, a silver one and a black one. There they are there. There's the silver, there's the black. And so I sell fertile eggs from this flock. Even though there's a few Isa Browns, I sell fertile eggs for $20 a dozen. So they could get an Australorp cross Isa Brown, they could get a purebred Australorp, they could get a mix. Because the days are getting shorter, they are a little bit down on the lay. So I only sell if I've got excess, but we've got 34 chickens, but a few haven't started laying, so we might only have like 25 layers, and some of them are old, so sometimes we're not even getting 10 eggs a day. So if eggs are low, I'll just eat them myself. But if we've got excess, I sell the eggs for $20 a dozen as fertile eggs. I don't post eggs. I might in the future, but I'll be sharing more about that in this series of chickens for profit. So if you've got any questions, please email me, support@chickencaravan.com, with your questions, and I'll answer them in an up and coming video. Otherwise, follow along Chickens for Profit, how you can make some money out of chickens, or even set up your kids with a business of making money out of chickens on this series, Chickens for Profit. Have a good day.